What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about Fortnite Season 3 because as of today, this season is 5 years old. Today is the 5-year anniversary of the launch of Fortnite Season 3. So I'm going to be talking about what changed in this season and why I think it's potentially the best Fortnite season ever. If you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and comment down below what you think of Season 3 and if you played the game around then, because I know a lot of my viewers started playing for Zero Build, and I also know a lot of them kind of quit the game in the early days and then came back for Zero Build. So you may have been playing in this season because this was kind of in the middle point of Fortnite where like building wasn't quite taken over yet, but it was starting to. The first thing we're going to talk about in Season 3 is going to be the Battle Pass. This is the first time we ever got a tier 100 skin. The first Battle Pass was in Season 2, the season prior. But this season's Battle Pass was the first tier 100 skin, and this was the John Wick skin. Not a collab, it was kind of inspired from John Wick, and a lot of people look back on this skin fondly. Back blings were also added in this update as a new cosmetic type. There were skins with back blings in the game prior to this, but it was just part of the character. You couldn't take them off and you couldn't mix and match them. A lot of people today are like very peculiar about their back blings and like kind of buy skins sometimes just for the back bling. This is a great cosmetic addition that came. Also 60 FPS on console. So prior to the Season 3, so in Season 2 and Season 1, and before there were seasons, the game ran on 30 FPS on console, and I feel like that is something that a lot of people forget about. 60 FPS isn't the greatest, but it is significantly better than 30. And a lot of people kind of rate Season 2 as the best Fortnite season ever. Looking back on it, people look at the peak of the game as Season 2. I think that's wrong. If people had to play on 30 FPS today, they wouldn't like it. Another thing they wouldn't like playing with today was the lack of turbo building. Turbo building got added in the Season 3 update. They also added the ability to build through objects and auto material swap if you run out of a material type. So if you were next to a tree in Season 1 or 2 and you tried to build, that tree would block your builds. I'm sure we've all been in like some of the weird POIs where you just can't build in random areas for whatever reason. Pretty much the entirety of the map was like that in the early days of the game prior to Season 3, and that was one of the things they changed in Season 3 that made the game significantly better, in addition to auto material swap. So before, if you ran out of wood and then tried to build, it wouldn't just switch to your brick like it does today. You would have to manually switch to brick and then start building, and this was, you know, not the most difficult thing to do in the world, but if you're trying to reaction build to getting shot in the back, or if you are in a build fight with somebody and then you just suddenly can't build, that like few millisecond of hesitation where you have to like think to swap the material or realize that you're not able to build because of the material could get you killed. So turbo building made it to where when you hold down the build button, you can just kind of like turn and build. This is one of the things that really advanced building and kind of led to the build fight meta that we have today, or that we got in the future. But without turbo building, you had to manually click the place button for every build piece you were on. So it made building much slower and much more skillful in a way. At the time, a lot of people looked at turbo building as a way just to like make it to where everybody can build well and kind of like, you know, buff up the newbier players. But today, people look at turbo building as something that like really advanced the skill gap. So it's interesting to see kind of how that changed. Another major change that came in Season 3 was pretty much the launch of the Fortnite storyline. There was only one major map change this season, which is kind of lacking, but it was just Lucky Landing came in around like the Lunar New Year, I believe, which was a nice little village, and it remained there until the end of Chapter 1 pretty much. It was at the very south side of the village. Definitely a POI I would like to see come back. It was great visually, and it was like a POI I feel like that was really underappreciated because of how far on the edge of the map it was. This is actually where Booga ended up landing when he won the World Cup. And like I said, this was the birth of the Fortnite storyline. So late in the season, you could see a meteor kind of in the sky, and it got larger and larger as it got closer to the Fortnite island. And then telescopes were added around the map and pointed at the meteor. So like you would get on one day and there'd be more telescopes in a certain area looking at the meteor. Eventually there was TVs in game. You used to be able to turn the TVs on and they would play like warning and distress signals. And then finally, very late into the season, meteors would fall from the sky and like destroy things. So like you could be in a build fight with somebody and then a meteor would just like crash into you and destroy your builds. And it got pretty chaotic in in-game. But this was only for the final few days of the season. And the main kind of consensus within the community at the time was that the meteor was going to come to the map and it was going to destroy Tilted Towers. And it ended up hitting Dusty and creating Dusty Divot in Season 4. And this was kind of the launch of Season 4, was the final collision with the meteor. But Donald Mustard later confirmed in an interview that it initially was going to hit Tilted, but since the community speculated that so much, they actually changed it to Dusty last minute. I thought that was really cool and really interesting, because for weeks we thought the Meteor was going to hit Tilted and then ended up hitting Dusty instead. And kind of that, this time period, I think, is what made a lot of people kind of feel like Fortnite is like a very special game, and it's very different from a lot of other games because of the way, like, we saw, like, you know, little storylines building on the map. You know, the storyline got very in-depth and very complicated later on, but it used to be very mysterious in a way that you would see a meteor and then telescopes and then distress signals, and you got to kind of put all that together. And we're all like super excited to get on and see what's going to happen next and see like that huge map change of the meteor hitting the map. So yeah, Season 3 was the launch of the storyline. It added so many like quality of life features that made the game so much better. Added back blings, the battle pass finally being tier 100 and 60 FPS on console. I think all of those things kind of solidify Season 3's case as potentially the best Fortnite season ever. I know a lot of people look back on Season 2, but I think Season 3 really is one of like the very high points in the game's life cycle, and it's kind of the end of OG Fortnite in a lot of ways, or very classic Fortnite. With Season 4 coming in, we started to get huge map changes every season with like Dusty Divot, Paradise Palms the season after that, and then we also got really chaotic gameplay elements like the Hop Rock Crystals. I believe we got Playground in Season 4, which really changed the skill gap of the game. We had the spray meta in Season 5. So I feel like for a lot of players, when they think of OG Fortnite or classic Fortnite, they're thinking of Season 2 and 3, and of those seasons, I think Season 3 is much better, despite it not being as like exciting for some other players. I think as far as today's standards go, this wouldn't have been the most exciting season. The end with the Meteor would have been, but like launch day, there wasn't any map changes. Really, we just got good quality of life features that made the game a lot better, but they weren't as exciting. Some of the items that were added in this season, there was pretty much an update every week or every other major week this season. We got the hand cannon. It's in the game right now. The hunting rifle, a very iconic Fortnite weapon. C4, one of the more frustrating weapons. Llamas were added this season. You know, llamas are an icon of Fortnite, and they were added in Season 3. The heavy shotgun was added to the game, but it used to function like a normal shotgun. It wasn't slug like how it is now. The guided missile launcher was added in this season, which is also an iconic Fortnite weapon. There was vending machines added this season, but at the time they were really terrible because you had to trade a lot of mats for an item. You might trade like 400 wood for a shotgun, and it just wasn't worth it in a lot of cases. Portaforts were added this season, which weren't that great because most players were able to build more effectively than that by this point. And then finally, the LMG and the Clinger grenades were added this season. So decent amount of iconic items with like the hunting rifle, llamas, and the guided missile launcher. Those are all like very classic Fortnite weapons. When a lot of people think of classic Fortnite, I think they think of like streamers hitting trick shots with the guided missile launcher. And there was also a few other big things that happened in the Fortnite community this season. It was released on iOS, which, you know, isn't playable on iOS right now. Apparently it's coming back soon, but this was the first time Fortnite was released on mobile. This was also the season where Ninja played with Drake, which doesn't seem like that big of a deal now because there's so many collabs and so many celebrities within the game. But at the time, this was a super big deal. Everybody in the Fortnite community was talking about it, and I think it even broke the viewership record for a single stream on Twitch at the time. It was huge, and this put Fortnite on the map for a lot of people. I've seen people say like this made it not nerdy to play video games or whatever because Ninja played with Drake. I didn't really see it that way, but it was like a very big deal within the Fortnite community. And then finally, there was like the first major ever Fortnite tournament hosted during the season. The Ninja Las Vegas tournament was hosted late in Season 3. So yeah, the first ever major Fortnite tournament, Fortnite Mobile, Battle Pass tier 100, 60 FPS on console, building through the objects, turbo building. This season had a lot, and then also the birth of the Fortnite storyline. So yeah, it's been 5 years since Fortnite Season 3. This was the last like OG classic Fortnite season in my opinion. I think it also could go down as potentially the best season, or should go down as the best season. But a lot of people kind of attribute a lot of what happened in Season 3 to Season 2, I feel like. And that kind of creates a confusion. But let me know what you guys think of Fortnite Season 3 down in the comments below. And if you overrated Season 2 before, let me know what you think of the season, how you would rate it amongst other seasons. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.